All right, everybody, welcome to this week's edition of the Fresh Takes podcast with Russo and Felice. This is a very awesome, special edition of the podcast. I'm really excited to get into it. Across from me, as always, man, myth, legend himself, Nick Felice. Nick, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, Paul. You know, I just looked up before today's show. This is our 63rd episode. I counted them.
All right.
63rd, and was it a year and a half?
Cool.
Something like that.
Good,
But
yeah.
Paul, we have a special show today.
This is special. When we first started messaging, this is what I ultimately hoped for. I didn't anticipate it happening maybe as soon as it did.
Yeah, it worked out.
But it worked out really well. We have with us, simply put, a legend. I'll preface it with this. One of the podcasts I listen to is the Dale Jr. Download with Dale Earnhardt Jr. as the host. And last week, he had Richard Petty on the podcast. And so, at least for me anyway, this is like having Richard Petty in the studio.
Wow.
So, Harold the Dog Weber joins us in studio today.
Yeah.
No stranger to the show.
No stranger to the Finger Lakes One community.
Yeah.
I know.
At all. There we go. Found it. Thank you very much for coming on with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I sort of barged in on your show. I do have an opportunity to watch the show. I don't watch it live. I'll be honest with you. I go to bed and my wife's watching tonight, so say hi to Mary. But I'm a 9 o'clock, 9:20 guy that goes to bed between 9 and 9:20 every night. I get up at 6, and when I used to watch it, I watch a show regularly, but it's never live.
That's totally fine.
That's all right.
But it worked out great when I said, I'd love to come on and be a part of your show because I like the way we go back and forth with sports topics, which, of course, I have quite a bit long history of doing what, you guys do. Mm-hmm. So it worked out perfect, and it was able to wrap it up in 1 week because I'm off tomorrow.
Yeah.
I work part-time at Del Lago. And I said, I'll do the show from 10 to 11, then I'll go home and go to bed and not have to worry about getting up at 6.
Yeah.
So it's great to be here and look forward to going through some topics. I know, it's funny because I'm in the same chair I was for all the years that we were here. And before then, we were down at Fall Street location.
How long ago was that when you retired?
I left in April 22nd.
Okay. Yeah.
And the reason I left, for people that may not know.
I don't know if we should use that R word, Nick.
Yeah, well, no, I know.
Yeah.
I was telling him before we went on the air that I had a dream to be a sportscaster when I was a kid. I got lucky and practiced the craft a little bit throughout my upbringing when I had the eye accident. And then I applied part-time because I was at Gould's, working at Gould's. I got hired in 64, and I was telling these guys, Paul and Nick, that I dreamt of two things, work at Gould's Pumps and become a sportscaster. And little did I know that WSFW, we've created in 1970 or late 69, and I auditioned, and there was 12 other people competing, and I was lucky enough to get the job, and as they say, the rest is history. Yeah. And as you guys know, I began, maybe you don't know because you're not certainly at those age groups, but maybe your dads and grandparents would know that I got together a sports team. Dave Barnick, I hired fame from Ovid, the mouth from the south, Jack DiPolito, the legendary Jack DiPolito, Mr. Clyde, Joe Hauk, legendary name in Seneca Falls, and Greg Cotterill, who worked at WSFW as an engineer and as a news guy, and he's still doing news up in Geneva. Greg is, and Greg did all our engineering. So we would make the travels throughout the Finger Lakes, and our first schedule that I put together was probably maybe 3 games. The first year we tried getting out and actually doing games, and then literally we would increase it every year, and we ended up getting into Clyde, which was a hotbed, as you guys know, for sports.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah.
But, literally, I think we were probably doing, as the years went on, WSFW got sold in 2000. But, I think I was probably doing 20, 25, 27 basketball games and probably 15 to 17 football games. We would go all over the area, and it was a dream come true. So, and then I met Jim Senecropi. I was off for a while, and Jim met me because I've known Jim for quite a few years. He used to listen to my show Weber on Sports by cutting the grass at the Seneca Falls Country Club.
Yeah,
and he used to have his little thing working in the cart as he was cutting the greens, and he heard Weber on Sports, and he approached me at the Parkers and said, we're putting together some sports. We'd like to know if you'd like to come on board. I mulled it over for a few days, and I said, let's talk about it more. And we got together, and obviously for a few years we were down in Seneca Falls on Fall Street. And the show was Weber on Sports, and then it was Weber This Week, and then we bring in guests, and like I did it for many years. And sometimes we didn't have a guest. I would do what we're doing tonight, talking sports and having stuff. So it's been a dream come true. So I left. You asked about why I left. I thought of it in April of this year. My birthday's the 29th of April, same as my daughter Sam, has the same day as I do, Samantha. But I thought 69 to 2019 is a nice number, 50 years being involved in this business. And I said, you know what? It's a great time to depart. I had great sponsors. If you ever check the show, we have phenomenal sponsorships.
Many long-time ones, too, in there. So
forever. And I said to my wife, Mary, and I said to all my friends that I'm going to pack it in. Do I still miss it? Sure. I'm looking forward to going through some stuff we're going to discuss tonight. But it's been a dream come true for me. So I pinch myself for the career that I've had. Would I ever come back and do it? Never say never. But I'm glad I'm here tonight.
So we're glad you're here as well.
We were a big fan of your show, too.
Definitely.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Love tuning in. So
who are we going to pick on first?
Well,
let's talk about Syracuse football.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. First topic we'll hit will be NCAA football.
There you go.
So then we'll go to the NFL, discuss the World Series that's currently going on. Quick score update for that.
Oh, yeah.
The Nationals have retaken the lead 3-2 on a Juan Soto home run.
Wow.
So,
what inning?
We are in the bottom of the fifth inning.
And you know what's going to happen, right? If the Nationals were to win the next two, right?
Oh, man.
History will be dictated by the fact that second or third time in the history of the World Series that the away team has won all games.
Yeah. That is true.
Talk about pinching yourself.
Yeah.
But I gotta needle you a little bit about you're an SU football fan.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I made some commentaries on my Facebook page, which we are friends now, about picking on Dino Babers. I like Dino Babers. I've met him. I just the sermon, the way he sermons things. He does I call him Reverend Babers, but he does the sermons. And the thing that alienates me about him, and I know Jimmy Senecrobe likes him, and I know a lot of people like him. He's a nice guy. But my point is, Nick and Paul, you lose to Clemson, you lose to Carolina State. Your season's not teetering, but you've lost two. Not you're going to expect to beat Clemson. But when he does his news conference after that game and looks into the camera and says, quote unquote, I know you're not happy out there. I know we got to get our act together. He says, but Nick and Paul, this is Baber saying, I got this feeling. And I'm thinking, what's he going to say? I got this feeling we could run the tables. And I'm thinking, Paul, why would you say that?
Yeah.
You just lost to North Carolina State, a game you could have won.
Yeah.
And all you do is put yourself in a position where if you don't, you look like an idiot, right? And guess what? They haven't won since.
No. They haven't won in the conference, right?
we're 0-4,
0-4, right? 0-5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like Babers. I think he's done a good job. Obviously, you guys talked about Dungy and DeVito.
Yeah.
I find it interesting because I thought about when you guys were discussing it last week on the show. If DeVito's 6'2", I'm 7'5". I can't believe he's 6'2".
He is a. Now, mind you, where I sit, I'm way
right.
I'm way.
But he doesn't look 6'2".
I'm way up, but he doesn't. It's probably the same thing they do with every measurement. Yeah. Like, hey, we'll put him on with the cleats. Yeah. He's probably, if I'm a betting man, he's probably somewhere in that 5'10" to.
Well, I'm 5'11". Yeah. I'm 5'11", and I saw him once, and he didn't look 6'2" to me. You guys were talking about it. I looked up his stats on Syracuse football, and it has him 6'2", 204. Mm-hmm. I buy the 204 maybe, but I don't buy the 6'2". And you guys were talking about Dungy and how do we miss Dungy so much at Syracuse. Yeah. And he's 6'4", 227. He's got 23 pounds.
Yeah.
When you look at Syracuse football, and not to belabor the point, they still got a shot at a bowl, Paul. They got to win 3 out of the next 4.
Yeah.
They got Boston College coming up this week. They got Duke and then Louisville, and then they wrap up with Wake Forest, which, by the way, Wake Forest is a top 25 team.
Yeah, Wake is they're back. Where'd they go? I had them up on here.
Yeah, but you think about it, Syracuse has still got a legitimate shot of getting in. Mm-hmm. But that's another one of my 17,000 pet peeves about NCAA football.
Yeah.
I have always believed that we should never reward a school for going to a bowl by 6 wins.
Yeah, I know.
I think you ought to at least get 7.
I think you just became Nick's best friend.
Yeah. I just look at it and think to myself, really, 6 wins you're going to get a bowl
I'm pretty
bid?
sure they were letting teams with 5 wins in bowls.
Well, I don't know, but they say the number 6, but I'm thinking,
Yeah, I know.
why 6? If you got 12 game schedule, which a lot of schools do now, you win 6, you lose 6, and you're going to a bowl, you're getting rewarded. To me, that is, I don't know, that doesn't excite me. But I understand bowls want to compete, and they are coming up with the money to stage a bowl.
Yeah.
And I guess the kids maybe look at the other side of the coin. It makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But I get hung up on this, the 6 and 6,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't won more games than you lost, but you're going to a bowl game. I don't know.
Not too often you see sport where
Exactly.
you're 500 and
Right.
you get rewarded.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense to the common person watching it. So, but Paul, back on Syracuse, I hope that they can get into a bowl game. But they got to somehow figure out. And by the way, you got a national record now. They got 42 sacks, most in the country.
Yeah.
Most in the country, 42 quarterback sacks. It's amazing.
It's it's something I brought up. I think was it last week on the pod?
Right.
That might have been. You look at DeVito's NC State game.
Right.
Like, that was the ugliest 300-yard game you probably ever have seen.
Right.
Or if not, it's definitely top 5. Like,
Right.
But I wasn't able to watch much of the game. I wasn't really near TV during it.
Right.
So I was really only getting the updates on my phone, and it just another one of those deals. It seemed like, to me anyway, where the offense didn't stay on the field. It's a product of everything a little bit, but the offense didn't seem to give the defense enough time, obviously, and it seemed like maybe the first time in a couple weeks that I think the defense was lacking a little bit.
Right.
That Florida State team's they're not that good, but they're definitely better than Syracuse.
They got good
anyway.
athletes.
Yeah. And, that win might have saved Willie Taggart's job for another year, in all honesty.
You may be right.
So, it sucks because I am a Dino supporter, I guess.
Right.
But there are sometimes, especially this past few weeks, where I'll listen to the press conference, like,
I know.
I'm not sure if you're watching the same game we are.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the people who I won't put full blame on a head coach because some other people around him.
No, I know.
But that being said, still you are the general.
Right.
You certainly look at the coordinators, I think, a little bit, and I wouldn't say defensive coordinator really is in a jeopardized spot. I'd point at the offensive coordinator
they're struggling there.
That staff, and
but you look at Syracuse
it's a rough
football.
time.
You look at Syracuse football, and you guys can agree or disagree, and please disagree if you feel that way. I look at Syracuse sports, and again, I got socks over in both you guys, but my point is, Syracuse basketball under Jim Boeheim, legendary. Worldwide to come to the Dome to play basketball. Anywhere in the world, they want to come and play Syracuse basketball. Why? They're usually in the top 25 and usually top 10, top 15, maybe not this year. Okay,
I think this
a lot of young
is the first
kids.
year I can't remember them being in the preseason. 25.
Michigan State, ranked number 1, and rightly so. But you look at Syracuse sports, and I've always looked at it this way, and I know I kind of think of numbers, but for basketball, Jimmy Boeheim gets a lot of people, a lot of outstanding athletes come to play basketball there. They've won some championships. They pack the Dome. You're on national TV, so if you guys are great basketball players, you want to come play Syracuse. Your games are always on national television. You got the Dome that's rocking, and most of the time it's packed.
Yeah.
But the thing I was thinking about it, compare that with the football program under Babers is, I guess my point is, I've argued with Jim Senecropi, our good friend who owns this place. Think about signing day for high school kids that determine where they want to go to school to play football. You guys may do some research to prove me wrong, but I'm trying to think, has Syracuse in the last several years gotten a 5-star I don't think they have.
I'm
not even sure they gotten maybe 1-4 if they're.
I know they've gotten some 4s here the past.
They might have got a couple of 4s most recently, but I look
at
it
5-star wise. I can't remember.
I'm looking at Nick and Paul. Now Alabama gets 10 or 15 of them.
Yeah.
Clemson gets 10 or 15 fives. Yeah. My point is, if you are not, and I don't mean that if Nick and you are 5-stars, you come in, you don't perform to a 5. That happens.
Yeah,
we get that. My view has always been with Syracuse is, for football presently, they don't get the 4s and 5s like other schools get, the major schools, and they just don't. Now, why is that? Because you guys are 4s and 5s and don't want to come up to Western New York and spend 4 months in the winter? I don't know. It doesn't affect the basketball kids that come in here. No. But why is the football? And if you look at it, and I may be dead wrong, but I think I'm pretty close to this, they don't usually get the 4s and 5s. I'd love to see them get some 5s. I'd love to see them get a whole bunch of 4s. I just don't see that on signing day, and I kind of analyze all that. Mm-hmm. So my point is, if you're not getting the 4s and 5s, it doesn't mean that 2 or 3 can't be great. They can really be great players, because you don't know. No. But I think the weather, believe it or not, doesn't affect basketball. But I'm convinced these kids down south, doesn't mean that they're not going to come play basketball for us.
Yeah.
But for football, it's different. And I don't know if I'm right or wrong. It's always been my belief.
Yeah,
they don't seem to get enough of the cream of the crop around the country.
They don't.
That would propel that program to where you, being a big fan, and other Syracuse fans would appreciate.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. They don't seem to get the too much of the cream of the crop.
No, I mean, and I think in my lifetime, I don't think I've seen, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a 5-star.
That's what I mean.
Recruit. I mean, it's certainly a rough selling point. I mean,
it is.
When you think about it, you could have your option of going to, say, even put it like this, you have your option of going to Tallahassee or Syracuse.
I know.
I mean, really, it's interesting. So
I think for football, it definitely plays more of a factor because you think about basketball. You're used to playing in. Yeah. You're obviously inside, but you're used to you're used to going to games in the snow and
right.
Whatever. And I think what helps the basketball team, is the dome.
Exactly.
Obviously, and I think for football now it actually is a counter. Mm-hmm. A counterpoint almost because the dome you think about can only fit 50,000 in it for football, and you could go to really think about it, go 3 hours south of here to Penn State. You can go play in front of 100,000.
Yeah,
you know. So
interesting. I'm not a Beavers fan. I do follow Syracuse. I'd like to see them get in a bowl game. I have a real problem with 6 wins going to a bowl, but that's another topic until the NCAA changed it. And by the way, before I get off that topic, Paul, I got to tell you about the NCAA and Mark Emmerick, the president of the NCAA. Yeah. You guys may have read where they're revising the terms now where the athletes can start getting cash under certain rules. And I got to be honest with you, I think Mark Emmerick, the president of the NCAA, is a complete idiot because, number one, if Nick Felice or Paul Russo are that superb of an athlete going to a college, regardless of the sport you're playing, I believe what California did some time ago to allow you and Paul to use your likeness, your image, your pictures, do autograph sessions, do speeches, and take in all kinds of cash. Yeah. My argument is Zion Williamson, Duke, right? How much you think that, and I realize it's the haves and the have-nots. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying every athlete in any sport is going to be able to get revenue for doing autographs outside of the dorm. But as you know, there's a lot of kids in college that are great in ping pong, tennis, swimming, basketball, football, that are stars.
Yeah.
These kids and these ladies that are athletes, how about Brianna Stewart?
Yeah.
Connecticut.
Yep.
Syracuse girl.
Yep.
Huh? How much do you think she could have made at Connecticut? Huh? Holding speeches, doing autograph sessions, doing pictures. They would have to get a boatload to put all that cash in. And I think they deserve it. I think if you have the talent, the NCAA should not, and I get the fact they're going to get scholarship.
Yeah.
Big deal. It's cost you $250,000. They're going to recoup that like that.
Yeah.
I'm talking, you got to be a superb athlete.
Yep.
And a mediocre athlete probably won't get a lot. But that mediocre athlete, if they can get a couple $100 here and there, fine. I just think Emmerick's an idiot, and I think the NCAA is against it. I think You're going to see more states allow these kids if they have the athletic ability to cash in. It's long overdue, in my view.
Definitely. I mean, somewhere the ghosts of SMU past are cackling and whatever. But yeah, I definitely agree with you on that.
I mean, stupid.
So before we completely move on to other topics, collegiate football wise, Nick, what happened to Notre Dame, man?
Season's over, Paul.
Oh boy, oh baby.
I know. No offense, but Notre Dame.
My guy even got pulled in the game. As
a Notre Dame fan, we have higher expectations than Syracuse football because we're trying to find our first national championship since the 80s.
88.
And it's over now. I mean, 2 losses. It's Georgia lost.
They got crushed, too, Notre Dame.
Yeah, they got crushed. And then they don't even get to play Michigan for, I think, another 20 years or whatever it is. Something crazy like that. But some of our key wins were Virginia, who's fallen off, and Georgia lost. So it's over. And I mean, we're going to a bowl probably, most likely, but
we'll still get a pretty decent bowl.
But it's not where Notre Dame football wants to be, and I just think Ian Book was not going to take them there.
ESPN had on this morning about Notre Dame saying that the university should buy out Brian Kelly and hire Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer's always wanted to coach there.
About that,
yeah, that was the big news this morning. I don't think they're going to do it, but it would be a nice touch.
Yeah, definitely. What are your guys' thoughts on LSU? Think they're the real deal moving forward?
We'll see a week from Saturday.
And that's true.
LSU at Alabama.
That's true. Say this with Golden State Warriors. I'll believe it until we see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Once Alabama loses, I'll believe it.
That's true.
They're going to be in Alabama. I think that quarterback will be healthier, ready to go. I think LSU, not that they couldn't beat Alabama, but Alabama at home against a big rivalry like this one, and going for number 1 in the polls. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah, definitely.
Be a real great game.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be exciting.
And Oklahoma lost.
Oklahoma's back.
I couldn't believe they got beat.
Because I enjoyed calling them Chokelahoma.
Kansas State?
Yeah.
So it was Wisconsin last week, and now it's Oklahoma.
How about Wisconsin? They were supposed to be the darlings of NCAA. Now they got embarrassed a couple weeks in a row now.
Indeed they did, yeah.
Pretty scary.
That was... I don't know if this Ohio State game, if you can say it was expected to be like that, but I figured a little bit more of a fight. Definitely on their end.
Ohio State's playing great.
Yeah.
They got it going.
Yeah. Look ahead quick to this week coming up for NCAA football. I'll start here. Game day has not officially announced, but they are going to Memphis.
I saw that.
The way it sounds, they just don't know where yet. I think they're trying to decide either between on campus or downtown.
Great.
Well, that's going to be pretty cool because Memphis, they're ranked now. They got ranked this week. They have 1 loss on the year versus an undefeated SMU Mustang team. So that'll be pretty good. I guess other main points, we have the world's largest cocktail party going on in Jacksonville, Georgia versus Florida. That will pretty much, I think, set the table for who we will see play in the SEC championship game. Other than that, Kansas State goes to Kansas, another rivalry game. Kansas has been playing tough, pretty much everybody tough this year, so that'll be interesting to see kind of what happens there. Notre Dame, they're home against Virginia Tech. This will be a nice solid bounce-back win for them, obviously. Yeah. And then Syracuse is home in the Dome against Boston College on noon.
Got to win it.
Yeah.
That's a must because you got to win 3 out of the next 4.
Yeah.
So you got to get this one.
Yeah.
If you don't
got to win the ones at home.
Yeah. I mean, Duke, I don't think Duke's that great. BC, they're up and down, right? Boston College up and down a little bit.
Yeah, they're minus a couple guys, but they're still
Louisville's
a tough team.
not that great either. Louisville, right? Not that
they got a couple losses, but I mean, that's going to be a tough game on the road. That's going to be a rough one, I think.
Then they finish up with Wake Forest, who's in top 25.
Yeah, they're 23rd, I think.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough sledding moving forward for the CUSE. That's for sure.
I know.
All right, let's go forward. Score update still 3-2, mid-6th.
All right.
3-2.
Yeah. So let's head over to the Shield, for the NFL Week 6.
You got a favorite team in football?
Yeah.
NFL?
Raiders.
Raiders.
Been a Raiders fan since I was a kid. Of course, you guys weren't even born yet when they were really.
My dad's a Raider fan, so
they were way back when Kenny Stabler and fist fights would fly every time they play. And talk about a dirty team. I don't know what attracted me to them. I love the color,
probably the silver and black.
But some of the fights they would start and brutal. I mean, talk about rules and getting thrown out of games. Oh, my God. They were just brutalized.
They were a mean bunch of guys back in the day.
Oh, they were.
Still are, a few of them on that team.
But I've always been a Raiders fan, I've always been a Raiders fan, and they had a chance to win last Sunday, and they found a way to lose it. So it's typical Raiders.
They got pieces there. They really do, though. I mean, they got pieces there. So.
Well, me and Paul's favorite teams aren't very good. Redskins and Giants.
Yeah. Ooh, Giants. Redskins getting beat up. Oh, God.
I've accepted the tank at this point.
Oh, man. Yeah. You in Miami, right?
Yeah. Which is funny because my brother's a Miami fan.
Oh, really?
So.
Well, Miami 14-0 lead. So much for that last night.
Yeah, that was an ugly game.
And you think about covering. I think Pittsburgh was favored by 7, right? Last night? I think it was 7.
I think so.
I think it was like 7.
7 or 7.5.
7 or 7.5. And I felt, obviously we have the sports book at the casino. I can't bet because I have a gaming badge, a gaming license. But I thought, oh boy, I feel sorry for those poor Pittsburgh fans. Give it late in 7.5, down 14-0. I dozed off, woke up. Oh my God, 27-14. They covered.
It was a bit of an ugly.
And that quarterback is nothing right on the mother about.
No,
their quarterback.
I think it shows how this is going to sound bad, but I think it shows how maybe bad the Steelers actually are once you get past Big Ben a little bit.
Yeah. I think you're right.
That defense is pretty good. It's kind of upticking again, but that offensive line is nothing like it used to be. And I think it shows, and I mean, obviously the diva that he is, but I think it shows how bad you also needed Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. Although, excuse me, James Conner
he got
probably
hurt.
is equally as good to Le'Veon at this point.
Yeah, he got hurt too, I saw.
So, yeah, he did. He's got I think it's a shoulder issue that he's got. He played through it yesterday, though, so.
Well, Paul, did you hear Andy Dalton got benched today?
I saw that.
Oh, the Red Rocket.
Finally,
the Red Rifle, whatever his nickname is.
Yeah. Well, Bills fans love him.
Team's bad, yeah.
Bills fans love him.
Oh, yeah. He's
the pass from O, name it.
He's the greatest thing that's ever happened to the
Bills.
Bills
Oh, my God,
in
I
the
never
last
forget
2
that.
decades.
Last second of the game, oh, my God.
I remember we were...
it was also New Year's Eve. That was crazy.
I never forgot that.
Yeah, me and Nick and our friends were up in Rochester for New Year's Eve, and we had just gotten back from dinner.
The pass.
And we got back to our hotel room quick. We turned it on, and I think that might have been noise complaint number 1 on the night.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
But I don't think it was I don't think we're the only ones with a noise complaint at that moment in the hotel. So
you had to have been surprised on Sunday because you're not a believer in the Eagles.
Well, they look good.
Yeah, that's true. They looked bad. Yeah, what the Bills finally had, as I call it, their first stumble on the year.
They played.
But that team they played bad, but that team is not. It's surprising me so far. I thought that defense might maybe sputter a little bit.
Talking about the Bills?
Yeah. And they've held up for the most part really, really well. I'm still a big fan. I was a big fan of Josh Allen coming out of Wyoming.
The knock on him was, that he wasn't playing anybody there. Their schedule.
Yeah.
Because the conference he was in. I like him too. He's a strong kid.
Yeah.
The problem is, Paul and Nick, is in my view, and I've been saying it forever. When I did this show, I used to say it when he got drafted. He's got the ability or the knowledge in his brain to run with the football. And I've never seen a quarterback, with few exceptions, that run the football as a quarterback in the NFL and survive long. As you know, and 325-pound linebacker is going to greet him and bury him.
Yeah.
And they're going to be taking a stretcher. And good night, Josh Allen. I just think he runs too much. And I know sometimes he slides. You can't touch him once you slide.
Yep.
I understand that. But he does run with the ball. He's a strong kid, but not against these linebackers.
No.
They're fast, and they're very strong, and they're even stronger than Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So I think, if the coach there could maybe just talk to him and say, hey, you're running way too much, I know he's pretty good at it, and he gets away with it, but sooner or later, night-night. Yeah. And that's what worries me about running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And RG3.
RG3. Of all people.
That's a different story.
Is that the last Redskins playoff team?
I'm not here to start a rant against Mike Shanahan. So let's. But it was the last playoff team I think it was like 20. Actually, it might have been 2015. We had Kirk Cousins quarterback. Good times. Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, back when I still thought Jay Gruden was actually a good coach. Man, how times have changed.
He's gone now, though.
Yeah. I guess maybe some other main storylines from the break, as I call them, the Jersey teams also struggled. The Giants and the Jets. The Giants looked, I thought, pretty good for the most part, though. Just couldn't seem, maybe the best way to put it, couldn't seem to get out of their own way for a little bit.
Yeah.
I know you probably paid attention mostly to it, Nick. You know, I saw a couple plays where, I mean, the best way to put it, again, probably was Daniel Jones as being a rookie and, you know, just having a rookie error, rookie mistake.
He looked good at times, and there was times where he makes rookie mistakes, but it's we're not expected to be good, especially the NFC is so tough this year. It's a learning curve. He's going to learn. Hate to say this, Paul. He's doing better than Haskins right now, but
he's just had better opportunity than Haskins.
That's true. But we'll see. It's going to be tough to get a top pick because there's some really bad teams. And
there are.
We mentioned the Bengals. You just mentioned the Jets.
Bengals, Dolphins.
Jets
Dolphins.
are actually bad. Broncos.
You guys may remember in history the Dolphins in '72 won it all.
And
then went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And wouldn't it be interesting if they were 0-16? Talk about tale of two cities.
That'd be.
You go undefeated, you run the tables in '72, and
that's wild.
In 2019, 20, you may be 0-16.
I know.
In the same franchise.
That is crazy.
But they did pretty bad.
Yeah.
I must say, I was shocked last night that they lost that 14-0 lead. I mean, they didn't even cover if you bet on them.
I know, and you were looking good.
And now betting is legalized at Del Lago. So it's got to be 21 though.
Oh yeah, me and Nick know about that a bit too much.
We have people trying to come in, trying to slip in the door a few months early. They're usually caught.
Yep.
I know I was itching for a while there, but I'm just happy it's open.
That's right.
It is. It was definitely a nice addition to the casino. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you got the Patriots win on there.
Yeah. That was, I guess, maybe the only other storyline, as I'd call it, major one, I'd say, maybe outside of the Bears game. But even then, I feel like that's kind of the only reason why that maybe is major news because of how much of a running joke that's become about the missed kicks and everything with them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a sloppy game, weather-wise. I'm not, and this is a different discussion, but I'm not a big fan of artificial turf. And you can kind of tell, at least from the Browns end of it, that they were Baker was really struggling. But again, this Patriots defense that they got is amazing, just incredible,
setting a historical record.
Record
on defense.
The pace that defense is on is in my opinion. Yeah. And I mean, you saw them. They're on pace to rival like 85 Bears territory.
Scary.
They are. I don't think they're a team you really defensively want to come across right now.
And they were never known as a defensive team.
No.
You know, they were sloppy at best, but they got Brady, and I see Brady now is going to go to 45.
Yeah.
3 more years. That the Bills have to say, I got no shot of winning the division.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you think about it. The Bills are playing good. You got the Jets in Miami, which are, cross the line through them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They're not a factor. But think about all the years that Brady's been in there in that division, the AFC, Eastern Conference, and you think about it, as you approach training camp in the NFL, how do you think it feels to be those other 3 teams in the conference that's with the Patriots?
Yeah.
You got zero of winning that division. None.
Yeah.
I mean, Patriots and Brady.
I'll say even the year that Brady went down, they were in it until the last week.
It's amazing.
I know.
But you think about those. Talk about a downturn in your philosophy and the way you think about sports. These athletes show up to play, and they look up and they go, Tom Brady, New England Patriots, Belichick. Got no shot.
I know.
And now he's going to play, they said, till 45. Now, when he retires finally, there'll be the biggest party ever in the history of mankind in Buffalo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, think about it. It's pretty scary. Yeah. And I'm convinced, and I know a lot of people argue the point with me, I'm still convinced that Tom Brady will go down as the greatest quarterback that ever lived. And you could argue the point. You shouldn't argue the point if you look at statistics. If you look at statistics on Tom Brady, the number of years he's been in the NFL, they're staggering. I mean, nobody's ever going to come close to those records. Oh. Six Super Bowls?
Yeah.
6? That's amazing. Yeah. MVP, 3 of them, I think.
Something like that.
He could have had 8 Super Bowls.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Go.
You're exactly right.
But then there's also the Patriot haters that could say could have had 4.
That's true.
If he doesn't, Russell Wilson don't throw that interception, the Atlanta Falcons just run the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it's interesting. We'll see what happens.
Those are big 2 what ifs though on the other end. So either way, let's look at maybe a couple games coming up then for the next week. Obviously, we'll stay with the local flavor here because the Redskins are in Buffalo.
Yeah. I think Buffalo should handle it.
I'd say I'd slam the Buffalo money line for sure. I don't know what the spread is yet. I haven't looked at the spread, but slam the Buffalo money line for sure. At least
10.
At this point.
The line's 10.
Line's 10. Mm-hmm. Slam the spread for Buffalo then.
We'll see. Especially who's starting for the Redskins.
Don't know yet. Case Keenum is still in concussion protocol.
That's funny.
Yeah.
We're fantastic. What else? What other games do we got? Maybe the big one. Well, actually, there's a couple big ones. Wow. I forgot.
New England plays...
New England plays Baltimore Sunday night.
That's going to finally play a good team.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah. And then you also have, obviously, Monday night.
Dallas Giants.
Yeah, that's a classic rivalry game.
Yep.
And then you also have Vikings versus the Chiefs on Sunday as well. Patrick Mahomes possibly playing.
Possibly.
They need him back.
So, 3 pretty big games this weekend. And then you got a couple games, I'd say, where you got teams that are probably going to scrap and claw because they know they need the win, like Bears at Eagles.
I'll tell you, that Bears quarterback, though, he should be in, third shift at McDonald's. I mean, I'm sorry. He can't deliver. I mean, he's scary quarterback.
I feel bad because I liked another quarterback I liked coming out of college was Mitch.
But this guy is just so bad. I mean, I don't know. There's just something about him. He doesn't give you any confidence he's going to complete a pass when you need to. Yeah. It just scares me. And I know they're staying with him, but, man, I don't know. I've watched the Bears games. I love their defense, obviously, led by the sensational kid from Oakland.
Oh, yeah.
Khalil Mack.
Oh, kid out of Buffalo.
Yeah.
Talk about a reputation. Talk about something to remember for the University of Buffalo, having that kid in that school. I don't know. It just the Bears, with a decent offense, could be much better with their record this year. And it hasn't turned out.
They're certainly, I think it's fair to say they've been the biggest disappointment this year.
You see this all the time in the NFC. You see a team who makes the playoffs last year, and they have a setback the next year. And I think this year it's going to be the Bears.
Yeah,
right.
And it looks like it could be the Rams this year too. Rams have not been playing the way they've been playing, especially with a tough division.
You're right about that. Rams haven't been either.
And the Seahawks, Niners are playing really well. It's going to be tough.
How about the Saints? Playing great.
Yes.
Hey, Bridgewater
Breeze is back.
Bridgewater wins
Breeze looked really good, but Bridgewater got himself a paycheck at the end of this year.
Now Breeze is back. And
Bears might be that team that need him.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. We got about 20 minutes left, so what we'll do is we'll do World Series and then we'll discuss some Mynderse-Waterloo.
Oh yeah, Minders. Yeah, bring back memories.
Let's go to the World Series.
What's the score?
We've been discussing that. We are still 3-2 Nationals.
Wow.
Top of the 7th inning now. So
could we have
coming down the nitty gritty?
Do you get your free taco tomorrow?
So if I was working my normal shift tomorrow, which is usually noon to 9, I'd probably go out my lunch break. However, I'm working early so I can go see the Mynderse-Waterloo game tomorrow. So I don't think I'll be able to get my taco. Nick, I hope you have one for me.
What time's it at?
2 to 6. But
I thought when they first did those where you steal a taco, I thought it meant for every road win. I was thinking it's just one day though. Because that would have been a lot of days of free tacos.
Excuse Excuse me. I'm
But,
trying to shake this cough.
So you said Justin Verlander got hit early on in this game.
Yeah, definitely appears that way.
Is Garrett Cole lined up for Game 7?
I don't know if he is.
I don't think they've announced quite yet for the Astros.
He'll probably come in for a couple innings because
Game 7's crazy in the World
Game
Series.
7, I know the Nationals have already said if it goes 7, Scherzer's pitching.
Yes.
So we for sure know the Nationals deal. Don't know the Astros deal yet.
Right.
My guess would be, I don't know if you rushed Cole like that.
No, he's only pitched a couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think I would take that kid out.
My money is you probably. I don't know if you go Greinke or.
Greinke, that's right.
I don't know if you go Greinke or the that young kid.
I know who you mean.
Quasidi,
Yeah,
I think.
They talked about Greinke though pitching tomorrow night if there was a Game 7. He looked good the last time.
Yeah,
Greinke did.
I mean, it's a tough.
I don't know, a young kid
spot.
in Game 7 of the World Series.
He pitched Game 4, which even the series out, and it's something that Kershaw isn't able to do most of the time.
Yeah, he struggled on a World Series.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Well, Verlander tonight, his stats 0-5.
Yeah, he's not good in the World Series.
5.39 ERA in World Series games.
Yeah.
You know, some of the greatest ones. What'd you think, Paul, of the Yankees getting rid of the pitching coach? Were you surprised? Rothschild getting the pass?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
He's been there 9 years.
Yep.
So I definitely understand it.
I thought worst ERAs
I thought. It's a tough spot to be in for him because he tried to adapt and the Yankees don't do it to his full degree as the A's or even like the Astros and Rays do.
Right.
But he didn't adapt to the analytics that the Yankees wanted him to do. He tried and really couldn't swing the curve with it.
Yeah.
I think the main thing you look at, maybe the best example of it is with Paxton this year. First half he was really preaching slider to him.
Boy, he's good now.
And then second half of the year, Paxton was probably the second best pitcher in baseball.
Absolutely.
And he stayed away from the slider.
Absolutely.
I think it's something that maybe you had to do.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough because I think overall pitching coach market's not weak this year, but you're probably going to have to get somebody who's going to be on their first go of it. I know the two names I've seen pop up so far have been, I feel like the main one is David Cohn. And then the other one is a name that I remember for sure. I'm not sure if you'll remember it, Dog. Nick, I'm guessing you don't know who it is. Steve Carsey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He pitched for the Yankees for, I know he had 2 stints there in the 90s and early 2000s. I remember him predominantly as a Cleveland Indian and Oakland A, actually.
Right.
So, but that's a name I've seen pop up. He's been working with the Indians in their organization as well. The Indians have been doing a good job of that, actually, when I'm thinking about it now. They've had him stashed away. They have Giambi stashed away. They got themselves set up pretty good, I think, moving forward.
Now you think the Yankees' old pitching coach is going to go to Philly with Girardi?
Yeah, I think that's all but official and pen to paper, if you know what I mean. The two names I saw for that were obviously Rothschild and Island. Dave Island, who was also a former Yankee pitching coach during the Girardi years. But yeah, Rothschild seems to be the guy I've seen and heard will be the guy you'll see next to Girardi next year in Philly. So,
well, staying on baseball, I know we're going to talk about Waldo Miners, which is dear to our hearts. You think about the Nationals, whether they win or lose tonight and get eliminated. It's pretty incredible when you stop and think about two things. 19-31 through 50 games.
Yeah.
The Nationals organization let Bryce Harper, regarded as second best, third best, first best, all-around baseball player in major leagues of all, making $33 million a year for 10 years or 12 years. the thought of them trading or letting Harper going to Philly for more money, and the Nationals without Harper going 19-31 and coming back to do what they're doing, pretty remarkable. Pretty remarkable. I mean, really.
Yeah.
You got to pinch yourself and think, how could that team ever do that? I mean, you don't lose just a baseball player. Yeah. You lose Bryce Harper. You say what you want about Harper, but he's a hell of an athlete, and he's a hell of a baseball player.
And they had statistically one of the worst bullpens in
the
league, and they still
I know.
This unbelievable
It's pretty staggering. So,
and they easily could have lost that wild card game.
Yeah. If you tip your caps and you think about the Nationals, if they were to lose and get eliminated, or, if win, it'd be out of sight, out of mind. But the thought of even getting as far as they have, with what they have transpired through their organization, I mean, losing Bryce Harper is not losing a shortstop that's batting .238. You got Bryce Harper, And I realized they didn't want to match his request for funds. The Phillies said, "Yeah, we'll pay you," and there's where he is. But I'm pretty amazed about that. Mm-hmm. So we're going to kick around Waterloo now, or going to go to something?
let's do it.
I mean, let's think about Waterloo. You said it was 2008 the last time Mynderse played Waterloo.
2008 is the last time they played on the Gridiron, obviously.
When I came over, on the way over, I couldn't remember the year the last time they played. 2008.
I played in the JV game that year.
Wow.
I think that was a Thursday afternoon, and then varsity played the next night in Waterloo for up until now what would have been the last game.
Well, some of the greatest memories of myself as a play-by-play announcer, thinking back on Waterloo Mynderse, I graduated from Mynderse, is everybody said I was partisan with my play-by-play. Probably was, I guess. It's hard not to when you come out of a school, but I was able to call a lot of classic battles.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about the 70s and the 80s and some amazing – both teams were really good for a period of time there. And it was funny. I think of Waterloo – my experience there, I called a lot of games there with Dave Barnick and Jack Topolito.
And that was when the field was over behind Lafayette, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I also remember the press box, walking up the steps to the old press box. Mm-hmm. I always hit my head because the press box was much lower.
Okay.
And I needled Joe Spazzato, a longtime friend of mine, longtime AD there, longtime coach, that he's only 4'3", and he could get through it. But us people with normal height banged our head. Every time I went up there, I'd hit my head. And I should have realized I did so many games there that I would have moved my head down, but I never remembered. So I used to pick on Joe Spazzato. The other Waterloo Mynderse story I'll share with you quickly. It had to deal with finances and money. LaBelle's Tavern was a place in Waterloo. Mm-hmm. Legendary. Downtown Waterloo. Bar is still there. It's not called LaBelle's anymore. I can't think of the name of it. But I used to hang out there way back. And I used to stop there and get a sandwich and a Coke and meet the guys up at the field. They had a 100-sheet football pool on Waterloo Mynderse out of LaBelle's. Wow. True story.
Really?
Yeah, true story. They had 100 square. So, of course, I'm calling the game for the station. I said, I'll get a square. So I can't remember, $5, $10 to get a square. And I drew 0-0.
Oh.
Which normally are good numbers, right? 0-0.
Yeah.
True story. I'm calling the game play-by-play. At the end of the first quarter, it's 0-0. Yes.
You're in it.
That first quarter.
Yeah.
I can't remember how much you paid. True story. Second quarter, 10-0.
Ooh.
Ka-ching. I win the second quarter.
Yeah.
I'm calling the game. Now, before the first half ended, Paul and Nick, I think Waterloo won that year. And Mynderse was down inside of the 9-yard line with about 40 seconds to go. And they drove it up, and they almost went across the goal line. And I think something happened where they fumbled the ball, and it was recovered. And I'm up in the press box. Of course, thank God it's radio, not TV. It was close. There was a score. My 0-0. 10-0 after 3.
Oh, boy.
Final score, 20-0.
Oh.
Wow.
I won everything. I think it was $230. Back then, it was a bunch of money. And I went back and I had to buy everybody a drink at the end of the game.
Wow.
But I didn't care. But I remember I called the game, did the play-by-play of the game, and I had 0-0, 0-0-1, 0-0 half, 0-0 third, 0-0 final.
And I think you're on statute of limitations, too, here. So.
But it's true. I remember that clearly. And I was trying to be, I was obviously partisan because I was a Mynderse graduate.
Yeah.
but I was really hoping the team that I had to zero on was State Zero. So it was
luckily for you. Let's say that.
I felt it was one of my best broadcasts, winning money coming down on the bells after the game. So it's going to be exciting. I think it's 2008. My God, that's 11 years ago.
Yeah, 11 years.
But again, I'm speaking of my age now. I know Mynderse has suffered in football for several years, but you know what? There can be solace to know that during my time, I never played football. I was 130 pounds back then, but I remember there were times where nobody would take on Mynderse Academy in football.
Yeah.
We're the most feared program around.
Yeah.
And we had that history for many, many, many years.
Russ, I remember when we were in high school, me and Nick, I remember in one of the displays out in the main lobby, they had one of the old schedules. I can't remember if it was in like a program or like a standalone type poster thing. But like you look at the schedule and you're like, yeah, sure, you see like opponents that we still face, obviously in sports.
Right.
Like obviously we didn't play them, obviously, we were high school. But Waterloos, your Palmax, your Genevas, and then the final two games were teams from Utica and Rome. And
amazing.
And next to both of them, W, and I forget what the exact score was, but it was like 31-7 or like something like that, like 31-0. And like you think about it, like I'll go and ask my dad about it. He goes, we'd just run the table.
It's phenomenal.
And of course, like, I know like a couple of the guys who like graduated with my dad, like Dave Justy, they went on and played.
Yep.
And now the school is known for being a bit of a Division II powerhouse, like Slippery Rock. You go there and that's a good school, and like we were producing. It's cool to think back, like hey, like we were producing like actually good.
Well, one of the legendary coaches at Mynderse was George Bullet Davis.
Yeah,
George Davis, legendary coach. He went from Mynderse up to Hobart.
Yeah,
coached there for a while. And I used to do an interview show with him at the end of the games. I would set up a schedule.
Yeah.
When I was doing Weber on Sports at WSFW Rio, he agreed to come on after games. I said, Coach, and he was a hot-headed guy when he lost. Didn't lose that often. I said, you can't just bag me if you lose.
Yeah.
You got to come on and give me 10 minutes of your time. I will, Harold. So we were in Clyde one night getting ready to do the broadcast. Clyde had a great team. Mynderse had a great team. It was a classic game, packed house. Nick Turcola Field. And I remember one thing about Davis, he didn't take bad efforts very lightly. He was quite pumped up. And I was calling the game. Mynderse took the opening kickoff. Had a good team. First down, 3 plays. Mynderse. Guess what? That was it. Only first down of the game.
Wow.
Lost 27-0. One first down. The very first series, Paul and Nick, that Mynderse had.
Yeah.
Lost 27-0. Davis didn't go back on the bus, the coach. I don't know how he got home, but he got home. I had a call. I got down to the studio at about this time, 11:30 or so. It was 11:30, believe it or not. Back then, I literally did an interview at that hour because we agreed to do it after the game. And I finally called his home. His wife said he's not home yet. I says, Harold, yeah. I said, well, he'd probably want to talk to you. I said, well, I don't want to. We got to get him on the air. Yeah. So he come in, boy, he was not in a good mood, and he didn't want to go on the air. And he said, I don't have much to say. I said, Coach, we do the talk with you every week.
Yeah.
And when you win, you talk to me. You got to tell us what's going on. So we put him on the air live. Are we taping him? Right, we were taping him. I said, Coach, tough night. What's your thoughts? Well, what am I supposed to say, Harold? It was the most disgusting appearance by our team ever in the history of me coaching. One first down, the first series. We never got another first down.
Sounds like Greg Popovich.
Oh, he went ballistic. And she goes, I said, well, whoever you're going to play next week, wish you luck. He said, don't worry, I'll get the team ready. And he was going to have him, doing laps around for 6 hours. But I never forget that. I had to interview George Davis, and that was not easy after losing. He was a good guy to talk to, but he was a lot better when he won. He didn't lose that often. But when he lost, he didn't want to come on, and I kind of coaxed him into coming on.
Very cool.
But those are some good memories with Mynderse. I think it'll be fun. I think bringing it back, Mynderse-Waterloo, regardless, Paul, of the level of play, it's still Mynderse-Waterloo.
Yeah, it still will be a fun game to watch. I'm pretty excited to go up and watch.
What time's the game?
6 o'clock. Tomorrow up in Waterloo at Tom Coughlin Field. Not to get, obviously, too much off topic, but we do have a score update.
Okay.
We are mid-7th. The Nationals have gone up 2 more runs. It's 5-2. I'm trying to figure out how. It's not. I'm not getting proper updates, if you know what I mean.
5-2 lead.
Phone. Yeah,
5-2 lead. Wow.
And to be honest, I'm afraid to click on the thing on the computer because I don't know if an ad's going to pop up.
It's all right.
And I'm going to have to deal with that audio.
That's all right.
It's all right.
I'm going to find out here. We're going into the game cast. We're going to jump into this.
It's okay.
Let's see. Anthony Rendon, 2-run home run.
Ooh, wow.
So, okay, that's popping up. I'm
might
getting
have
out
a game
here.
7.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
It seems like it. It seems like my $20 flat bet on the Nationals to win the World Series is still alive.
Still alive.
I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'm really excited for the game. I usually, talk about history. I had past couple of years I've had the privilege to call the game's public address for Minders. This was the first year I wasn't able to do it, just commitment-wise. It didn't line up right. And, to me, if I'm not going to be able to do something, I just don't want to,
Yeah.
And so, but I do know they had, a lot, maybe not a lot of returning faces. I know the nucleus kind of came back this year. And I know, again, this is a different discussion, the way they did the scheduling this year, back to the Federation style where you're playing people in your class, certainly did not help them out. And clearly, then they went 1-6 in the regular season. Yeah. But, it's a good group. They got a good group of kids. I know Waterloo's got another good group of kids that they got as well playing. So this is it's going to be a good game. I'm not too sure what to make of it.
Right. But it's just nice to get together.
Yeah, but I'm pretty excited. Like we said, this is the first time since 2008. It's hard to think about not playing, your rival in any sport for over a decade, let alone something in high school where you guys are in the same league for the most part and everything, and stuff like that. It's pretty wild.
I look back on it, and I had the ability to call so many great games between Waterloo and Minders.
Yeah,
and who had excellent athletes. Excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't doing a 2-8 record. They were solid teams.
Yeah.
And regardless of where they played, it was always a sellout. I mean, it was always a packed house, and some great memories that I recall having been to both Rockfield and to Waterloo, covering games. It's great. It's hard to believe the hour's almost over and I'm still awake.
You're doing good.
Yeah. By the way, my wife said I should have brought a pillow over with me. I thought that would have been funny. Lay my head down while you're asking questions. This has been fun. God, it's almost 11 o'clock. But,
yeah, it is just about that time, as we call it. So it's always, get to the end of the show here. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in, giving us a listen or a watch. Again, big thanks to you, Web Dog, for coming on. This was really an awesome privilege to get you in, and as fast as we were able to actually make it.
Yeah, less than a week.
Together.
With the time, it couldn't have been better. When I said I'd like to be a part of the show, you said let's check a date on it. I said, geez, next Tuesday night. I don't work on Wednesdays, so if you want me to come in, I'd love to come in. So it worked out great. Yeah. You guys do a great job. Again, I'll be honest, I never watch the show live, but I always watch it the next day or the day after. And
we appreciate just the listen. So
no, I know. No, you guys do a good job, and you have guests in here, and you talk to different people, so it's good. And by the way, I may have retired on April 22nd, my last broadcast, sitting right here. My daughter, my wife, and friends of ours came in for my farewell show. But I should point out, if anybody's interested in doing a show, this is a good opportunity to come in here.
Thank you.
Talk to Jimmy and get an opportunity to do a show.
Yes.
And I did my show at 3. It doesn't have to be you guys do your show at 10 because you have commitments and work regulations or times. But if anybody's watching us now and has the ambition, regardless of the age, you don't have to be, regardless of how old you are, if you have a passion for sports, there's always room, and it doesn't have to be sports either.
No, yeah.
It can be any topic.
Absolutely.
I'm sure Jim Zenacropi would be entertaining any idea to come here sit where I am right now, where I sat for 8.5 years, and before this, another 4 or 5 years. So it's a great opportunity. So if you're interested, I'd say stop by Jim and tell him what your ideas are. I mean, we have all kinds of different shows, as you know.
Yeah, definitely we do. Yeah.
So, thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for coming out. It was certainly a privilege for us.
Hey, listen, it was great to be here. Thank you.
Nick, as always, we go to you. Who are you shouting out this week?
I just want to say college basketball is coming next week, so
we're gonna
stay tuned.
Yep,
you
go. I'll talk. My talk.
I shouted out before. I'm shouting out Jim. He's the reason this crossover even happened.
That's true.
Might be the first crossover in Finger Lakes 1 history.
That's a good point.
But
I didn't think about that.
That's right.
I don't know. I'd like to see more of it.
Yeah.
Get us on the. What's the one? It's the NASCAR one they don't.
NASCAR.
They don't the 31st lap guys.
Yes. But the one we want to see is the Fresh Takes Kenny's Two Pennies cross.
Oh, there you go.
We do want
that. Would be awesome.
We need to make that happen.
Well, yeah. Shout out,
fun.
Jim. Yeah.
All right.
Well, it was fun, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Before we completely head out, so next week, as you know, we're usually Tuesday nights. Next week, Finger Lakes 1 will bring you the election night special again. It's really great coverage. I recommend tuning in. A lot of major stuff locally, major elections happening locally that you'll get pretty much up to the minute results on when the time comes for it. That means for us, we won't be on our normal time. We're going to work out. We're going to try, hopefully, to stick at some point on Tuesday. Not sure yet. So keep an eye out on your subscription feed. If you haven't already, like I said, always say you should subscribe, but that's probably the main way you'll know. I'll probably tweet out when it will be on my Twitter account. Probably also might share it on Facebook too. Who knows? But we'll get it out there. We'll let everybody know when we'll be on next week. Because I'm sure at some point we'll try on. But next Tuesday night, we won't be on our normal time. Like I said, tune in for the election night special. It's really great. Yeah. As always, I say share, subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know any questions, takes you might have, that type of deal. And then we will catch you at some point next week on the Fresh Takes podcast.